boy Stevie Jobber. It's your boy Dangerous Dude. The Dangerous Jobbers podcast. Play the one. The boy Stevie Jobber. Dangerous Dude. Stay dangerous.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I'm your boy Stevie Jobber.
I'm your boy Dangerous Dude.
And this is Theo Jobber? We'll call him Theo Jobber. And this is the Dangerous Jobbers podcast, but I'm wrestling over one podcast at a time.
Yes, sir.
We got a special little guest with us today for the Backlash predictions. We'll see how well this pod goes with him on my lap. Hopefully well. He's usually a good baby, but we'll see. Let's get right into it. There's only 4 matches. We have a toss-up fifth, and we'll get to who that could be and why. But let's start with the matches we have confirmed, starting with United States Championship match. Jacob Fatu, the United States champion, proud to say the United States champion. Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, and Damian Priest. I'll tell you right now, my money's on Jacob. I have zero expectation for anyone else. It's basically Steiner math out there. Jacob for the win. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm going the same boat as you. I think this match is strictly just let's get everybody, let's get a big match together. Let's get everybody who can somewhat have a cohesive, functioning chemistry, if you will, and let's hope for the best and let's make Jacob look dominant. And I think that's how it's going to go. And I think it's going to end ultimately with Jacob pinning Damian Priest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think Teddy agrees with me.
I think Teddy agrees. Next match, Gunther versus Pat McAfee. And what? All right. It's gonna be Gunther versus Pat McAfee. My money's on Gunther, but I think it'll be a fantastic performance for Pat. Yeah, the commentator, Pat McAfee. I think Pat will do a great job, and I don't know really where Gunther goes after that, but I'm just expecting this to be something good that costs no one anything and gives Gunther a good reset place to start after losing to Jey Uso for the world title. What do you think?
I think the same thing. I could see it being to where Pat gets some licks in, but ultimately Gunther's just like, mollywhopping him the whole time. I think I wouldn't even be surprised if it got to the point where Pat McAfee's team came in and tried to help Pat. And then, his whole team just gets squashed too in the process. Because I really hope this isn't them trying to bury Gunther. He doesn't need that. I could even see it being like towards the end of the match where when Gunther finally wins, he just starts beating up everybody else again. And then somebody comes out and makes the save for Pat. I could see something like that going down. But either way, Gunther for the win.
Are you saying something, Teddy? I think Teddy agrees. As he's eating his shirt. So yeah, there's not really much juice for this Backlash. At least for the half matches we have so far. It's something solid for Gunther. It's something solid for Fatu. And then I think the stuff where things really start to get sketchy is for the IC women's match. Becky Lynch versus Lyra.
Yeah. I think he likes Lyra.
All right. We like Lyra. Becky Lynch versus Lyra. My money's on, I have no clue. Lyra's run has been stale. Becky Lynch as a heel is sort of doing it for me. I like the aspect that now you kind of have to care about Lyra and they're
Hmm.
bringing some sort of characteristic to Lyra because she just didn't have character before. But just because you start to develop character doesn't necessarily mean that now you're gonna win. So I'm not really sure if Becky's merch sales are gonna beat out the potential Triple H has in Lyra. Um, but it remains to be seen. What do you think?
You know, much to Teddy's chagrin here, I think I'm gonna have to go with Becky Lynch. And I know people thinking that, I'm a Becky Lynch fan and that's what it's gonna be, but I with the run that's been going on, it's gonna be time for them to switch it.
But yeah, I think for Becky, it does so much for the IC championship that somebody legitimate like her can hold it.
Hmm.
But it does do more for Lyra to win, I guess, right? We would have to sort of respect Lyra more. Or do we just get more upset that now somebody we didn't really care for is beating people like Becky Lynch? I don't know. It's a double-edged sword to me.
Hmm.
Um, if only if they put it on Becky to raise more new stars. Like if it starts to become the cycle of who haven't we used, let's throw them against Becky, and then we start to use Becky as a launching point for other people before they find the person to drop it to, then okay, because then it's like a U.S. title run for John Cena, and it's not really
Hmm.
about Becky per se.
Yeah.
I just don't see that from Lyra though. I don't see it.
No.
And then we move on to the essentially the main event. The only match we have, the only really big match to me that we have nailed down.
Hmm.
John Cena versus Randy Orton is the only thing on the card to me with some meat on the bones. What do you think, Tay? You've been watching closely. Okay. So I think they're probably gonna do, I feel like they might do this more than once.
Hmm.
I don't know if it ends partly here and then we pick it back up maybe somewhere around SummerSlam. I feel like you want to get as many opponents out of the way as possible. So it may be a one off, but who knows? It is Randy Orton of all people. Um, and maybe this is an early takeout for something later down the line, like we expected it to be. But I think for what they've done, for what they knew was going to come with John versus Randy, it's been okay. I think I don't know. I think the family angle was weird for me, but we've gotten here, and I think John has done well, and I think Randy's done well. I don't know if it's a creative thing. I don't know if they were both like, let's just shoot from the hip and see what we come up with.
Hmm.
Which it could have been, Teddy. It could have been. Um, but obviously my money's on John, but I expect an amazing match with Randy and John in St. Louis. I mean, the crowd's gonna be singing. You know, it's a great place to get major heat for John, but I don't really
Yeah.
see. Again, this is kind of just an elevation match to get the other person moving. I think it's like that. Well, I think it's like that with every other match, but Becky and Lyra, really.
Hmm. Yeah, and
Um,
I was gonna say I'm kind of in agreement with you here. It's a great way for John to get heat because John will probably get the most boos he's gotten since I don't know, since years ago. But again, Randy's hometown. They rarely win in their hometown, so I'm gonna go John. I think this could lead to something else down the line, potentially more matches between the two of them. Hopefully, they kind of get their footing on how to come at each other from this angle because they've never came at each other from this angle where Randy was the good guy and John was the bad guy. I think they just kind of they got to figure out how to be the opposites of what they've been their entire career. So that's going to be the tough part for them, but eventually I think they can get it under them the right way.
you said it, man. I think that's the really interesting point about the story. I think
Hmm.
maybe that's it. It's maybe not even that they haven't put a lot of meat on the bone for the story. It's just the angle is awkward for us.
Yeah.
we're being so used to Randy being a bad guy in this scenario, John being a good guy in every scenario, for them to have to turn it around like this.
It
Um,
it's literally uncharted territory.
it literally, yeah, it is uncharted territory. I think that's the name of the pod, Uncharted Territory. But I I expect something good. I expect whatever the outcome may be. Some people were saying John might pull the Randy move where he slapped the ref from years back as a callback. I did always think that was super clever, and no one had ever really done it before. In the
Hmm.
midst of being like, I'm about to lose and I can feel it, to suck the energy out by slapping the ref and pull a gotcha. It's almost an Eddie move, but Eddie's
Yeah.
never actually done that before. But I mean, how clever would that be?
Hmm.
Um, okay, so let's go down the list and then we'll talk about what might be on Backlash as well, but isn't confirmed as we're recording this. So we got John versus Randy. We're going John.
Yep.
Lyra versus Becky. We're going Becky.
Hmm.
Fatal four way, obviously Fatu. And then Gunther beats McAfee.
Yes.
All right, I think we're pretty down the line here. Jay versus Logan Paul. Do you think this is going to be confirmed for Backlash? Do you think Jay wins? And what does this match mean to Jay? Period.
Um. So honestly, I don't think this is gonna be the match that happens.
Mm.
But if it does, I won't be mad because it's gonna be. I think they can put something together there special where Logan, can try to do some kind of off the top rope flip, spin, jump, whatever, and then Jay comes in with his spear or Jay comes in with the super kick and does something and catches him. They could probably recreate something decent enough to get people excited about the match. If it does happen to be that match, then I'm gonna say Jay wins 10 out of 10. I'm sorry, but there is no. I love Logan Paul, but there is in no way, shape, or form in this lifetime or any other lifetime that I would be okay with Triple H putting the World Heavyweight Championship on Logan Paul. That would be very David Arquette WCW esque. So, as much as I love Logan and think he's a phenomenal talent and a great performer, he is not World Heavyweight Champion material. I don't care how much merch he sells and how many YouTube eyes he brings in. It's a no from me, dog. And if that match does happen, I'm going Jay Uso.
All right, well, man, let me play devil's advocate for a second here.
Go ahead.
Wouldn't seeing is how the internet community
Uh-huh.
has had a very different response to Jay Uso in live events.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that maybe Logan Paul would be the ultimate, like, oh, you didn't like that? You're really not gonna like this then. If you think we should not go with Jay, here's our other option that probably will do us just as much numbers. And he's a bad guy, and he's gonna get the most heat in the world if he beats Jay Uso at Backlash in St. Louis.
I don't think so because when is the last time that they've had two champions that were the main champions that were both a face or both a heel? It doesn't necessarily work out that way because it just doesn't. They hardly ever do that. I can't remember the last time both world champions were either face or heel. You have Logan win, and then you have John as the world champ. You got two heel champions, and it's not going to make sense for anybody. So I don't really see a feasible way for them to pull that off.
Okay, so you got your booking hat on, is what you're saying. You just don't see it happening booking wise.
Booking wise, sense wise, I just don't think it makes any logical sense. Like that's why I said it's not that Logan Paul's a bad performer or that I don't think he can be a champion because he was obviously the U.S. champ. He was decent. I liked him as the U.S. champ. I could see him being an IC champ and being pretty dope. But I just don't ever see Logan Paul being a world heavyweight champion.
I can respect that. I can respect that. I do think there will come a time. I do think he'll eventually prove himself against enough people. I mean, listen, he's creating a list, and yes, it is marketing, but WWE does sell matches. That is kind of what they do. And he is still to this day probably one of the fastest celebrities to take to wrestling. I know.
Oh yeah,
I know, Teddy. I know, Teddy. I'm just saying, if you give him long enough, or he might be ready now. We don't know. I think we would have to. Well, Teddy disagrees, but I think
mm-hmm.
if we give him the
My
chance,
boy. That's my boy.
I think if we give him the window, um, and we see it with our own eyes, then maybe the Monday after. All right,
I,
all right, all right.
I'm
Maybe
sorry.
the Monday after. Hearing the promo, we could believe that. All right, this makes sense.
I'm with Teddy, bro. I'm sorry. This is a hill I'm gonna have to stand and fight for. I don't think I can. I think it's gonna be me and Teddy standing on this hill, and we gonna say we wholeheartedly disagree.
Teddy's clearly not with it. All right,
Look, he's so distraught. He's biting his shirt. He can't contain his rage.
he can't stand it anymore.
If if looks could kill,
It looks good. It looks good. So for me and Teddy, I think we've walked into the perfect situation for a cheap plug.
mm-hmm.
And unless you want this baby to be really upset, you'll hit like and subscribe, maybe comment, hit the link tree. Yeah, I mean he's getting riled
Mm-hmm.
up, man.
Let him
Hit the
know.
link tree in the bio if you're listening to Spotify. We got YouTube. All right, all right. I'm And if you got us on YouTube or on Spotify and all the listening platforms, we got a website, dangerousjobberswebsite.com, but that's in the link tree in the description if you've been listening. Thank you for rocking with us this long. You're right. You're right. I'm closing the show, Teddy. I'm getting us out of here. Um, from Teddy, who's ready to go to bed, and from me, Stevie Jobber.
And me, Dangerous Duke.
Let us know how you feel about Backlash. I'm gonna get this baby to bed.
So basically, everybody, if you got any comments, you got any questions, drop them down there. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you with our predictions, if you're not with our predictions. Either way, we want to hear it, and we want to have you let us know. But that's it for it. That's it for us this week, guys. That's Stevie Jobber. That's Teddy. I've been Dangerous Duke. Make sure y'all stay up, stay blessed, and as always, stay
Stay
dangerous.
dangerous.
People have been asking me to be the best in the world. Why, Eddie, why?